There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there everyone, I'm Crazy Caleb, and today we are taking a look at a fairly simple one, binary grid. So what we need to do is we need to first off calculate our primary key based off of the board. So what we need to do is figure out if each of the following statements is true. And we're going to go through 3 stages according to these black lines over here. And what we're going to do is get our first 3 numbers from here and our last 3 numbers from down here. And this is just for our primary key. So, at each of the following assertions, if the answer is true, the corresponding number is 1. Otherwise, it is a 0. So let's calculate our primary key. The number of ones in the grid is even. Let's count before we even edit it, because we can change the board. Let's not get that wrong, but let's reset it. So, number of ones is even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is true. So that is a 1. So our second number, and since we're in stage 1, the number of batteries is even. We have 2, so that is indeed true. That's a 1. Our third number, the number of ones is superior to the number of zeros in the grid. There are 25 spaces, and I counted 12 ones. So there are obviously 13 zeros and 12 ones, so the number of ones is not superior to the number of zeros. So that is a 0. So how do we get our last 3 numbers? As we need 6 numbers down here. The last 3 numbers of the key are the same as the first 3, with the 0 and the 1 switched. So essentially what this means is we will have a second thing right here, and essentially we're going to just calculate what is the opposite of this. So a 1, what is it not? It's not a 0. 1 is not a 0, and a 0 is not a 1, and that's our primary key. For secondary key, we're going to calculate it down here. So we're going to find our primary key in one of these charts here. So primary key being 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, in this case right here. And the fact that we found a chart here means that we're on the right track. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find in the grid the squares associated to the black squares on this chart over here. And that is going to be our secondary key in reading order. So our first one is in the first row in the third column. It's a 1. Second one is second row, fifth column is a 0. Third row, fourth column is a 0. Fourth row, second column is a 1. And for the last row, 3 and 5 in the columns are a 0 and a 1. And that's our secondary key. Now what we're trying to do is find the specific point in the grid to press and submit. With both keys, it is now possible to get the state solution. For the row number, you need to count the number of ones and the number of zeros in the 2 keys and take the minimum between the 2. Let's figure that out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 ones. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 zeros. Both are the same, so either work. You can subtract x to that number to obtain the row number in the solution. X is determined as follows. If there are strikes, x equals 1, otherwise x equals 2. So in this case, we do not have any strikes, so x is going to be 2. So we're going to take 6, as we have here, and subtract 2, giving us a 4. And that is our row number. Next up, what we need to do is find our column as well. We need to find the specific point in row 4. To find the column number, the primary key needs to be entered into the module in the emplacements marked by the black squares. Looking back up here, we need to put the primary key in these 6 black spots. And what we're going to do is press check afterwards. So let's go here. So we have 1 in this position, 1 down here, we need to switch that. Next up is going to be a 0, 0, 0, and a 1. Let's check that. And we can press our submit button over here. Row 4, column 4. And that's the first stage done. And let's not forget to turn our submit button off. Now, we're on a new stage, and we have to calculate some new keys. So let's do that again. The number of ones in the grid is even, as always. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So no, that is a 0. Second number, there are 2 or more port plates. There is 1, 2. So that is a 1. And the number of zeros are superior to the number of ones. I counted that there were 15 ones in the grid, so that is obviously false. So that is a 0. Now we're going to flip it this for the last 3, giving us a 1, 0, and a 1, flipping the results from the first 3, essentially. Now we're going to go down to our second key, and let's find it. 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Right here. Our secondary key is in these black squares. So in this case, 0, 0, 0, 0, then a 1, then a 0, and then a 0. Oh, I've never seen that many zeros before. So now we're going to go down to the row number and calculate the minimum of 1s and 0s between the 2 keys. So we have 4 1s, and that's obviously our minimum. We do not have any strikes, so we're going to subtract 2, giving us our row. And now let's put in our primary key to the black squares here, and press check. We have a 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and finally a 1. Press check. So in row 2, column 3, we're going to press submit there. And that's the second stage. Let's take a look at our final stage. The number of ones is even in the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That is true, and we can already tell that the ones are dominant to the zeros. But of course, that could be irrelevant in the third stage. We said that the number of ones in the grid is even, so that's true. So the second number in the third stage, there are less than 2 lit indicators. There are. That is true. So that is a 1. And finally, for our third number, the number in the center square of the grid is a 1. Right here, that is true. So that is also a 1. So let's do the opposite for the last 3. So 0, 0, 0. Finally, let's go down here. So a 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, right there. In our black squares, we have a 1, we have a 0, we have a 1, we have a 0, we have a 1, and we have a 0. Go figure. So now taking the minimum between those, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. And obviously they're both the same because if one's 6, then the other is 6 as well. So, taking 6 minus 2 because we have no strikes is a 4. So we're in row 4 again. And now let's go back up here and submit our primary key into the black squares. We have a 1, 1, 1, and then the rest are zeros. 0, 0, and a 0. Check it.
There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
So row 4 and column 1. And that's the solved module. Let's take a look at one more. This isn't a hard module, but it does take a bit, but it will speed up after a while. So, let's start it up again. The number of ones in the grid is even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, that is not true, and we can already tell by that 11 that the zeros in this grid are superior. Wait for the lights to turn back on to get our second number, being the number of batteries is even. That is also not true, so that is a 0. And the number of ones is superior to the number of zeros. Like I said, there were 11 ones, so that is not true as well. So let's do the opposite for the last 3 digits. 1, 1, 1. And head on down here. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 works. Okay. So So let's get our secondary key from the black squares here. We have a 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, and a 0. So now we're going to find our row number. We have no strikes. We're not subtracting 1, we're subtracting 2. Let's find our minimums, though. Both of them are 6, I can already tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 minus 2 is a 4. That's our row number. So now let's input the primary key into these black squares here. So a 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Press check. So we're going to submit on row 4, column 2. On to our second stage. And before I forget, let's not forget to turn off the submit button. Number 1 on the grid is even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is not in this case. So we can already tell that zeros are also primary. Zeros are also superior in this case. There are 2 or more port plates for our second one. Yes, there is. So 0, 1. The number of zeros is superior to the number of ones in the grid. That is also true. So that is a 1. Now let's do the opposite for these 3. So that's going to be a 1, 0, 0. Let's find this grid down here. 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. Right there. Our secondary key is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, and a 1. Counting the least significant here. I'm just making sure I'm recording. Good, I am. Counting the least significant, we have 5 here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So we're going to subtract 2 from 5, creating 3. It's our row 3. So now we go and put in our primary key into in these positions, as always. So that's going to be a 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. Check, please.
There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Submit on row 3, column 4. Let's take a look at our final stage. Submit. Counting our number of ones. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It is not even, so that's a 0. There are less than 2 lit indicators. No, because there's already 2, so I can already tell you that's going to be a no. There's 3, as a matter of fact. That is a 0. The number in the center square of the grid is a 1. It is in this case. So that is 0, 0, 1. Let's do the opposite for those. That becomes a 1, 1, 0. Taking a look down here, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Our secondary key is going to be a 0, a 1, a 0, a 1, a 0, and a 0. That is right here. The least significant between these is the 1s. There are 5 of them. 5 minus 2 is going to become a 3. In row 3, but where? So let's plug in the primary key into these 6 positions, like always. So it's going to be a 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Check, please.
There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
So in row 3, we will submit in column 4. And just like that is a solved module. Thank you guys for watching. As always, stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.